All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm V. Ravi Kumar and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio at 11 this morning. Government announces phased withdrawal of lockdown. Containment zones to remain under complete lockdown till 30th June. International air travel, metro rail services, cinema halls and gymnasiums remain prohibited across the country. Home Ministry issues directives for COVID-19 management at public and workplaces. And US President Donald Trump calls for expansion of G7, seeks inclusion of India, Russia, Australia and South Korea. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in his Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio at 11 this morning. It will be the 65th episode of the monthly radio program. It will be broadcast on the entire network of AIR and Doordarshan and also on AIR News website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR mobile app. It will also be streamed live on the YouTube channels of AIR, DD News, PMO and Information and Broadcasting Ministry. AIR will broadcast the program in regional languages immediately after the Hindi broadcast. The regional language versions will also be repeated at 8 in the evening. The government has announced phased withdrawal of the lockdown to fight COVID-19. The first phase of nationwide unlock starts from tomorrow after the fourth phase of lockdown ends today. Except for the containment zones demarcated by the state and the union territory governments, the first phase of unlock for the remaining part of the country will begin from tomorrow. All activities have been allowed in green and orange zones from 5 in the morning till 9 in the evening, except for few which will be opened up in a phased manner starting from 8th of next month. Starting tomorrow, there will be no restrictions on intra and interstate movement unless the state government decides otherwise. For more details, let's listen to our correspondent.
No separate permission or permits will be required starting from tomorrow for both intra and interstate movement by citizens as per the central government guidelines. Starting from 8th of June, the doors of temples and other religious places will be open for the devotees. Hotels, restaurants, hospitality services and shopping malls will also see visitors from 8th of next month after around 75 days of closure as per the standing operating procedure finalized by Health Ministry. Educational institutions including schools, colleges, coaching institutes will remain closed till 30th June and decision on their reopening will be considered only after consultation of all stakeholders. International air travel except those permitted by government, metro rail, cinema halls, gymnasiums, swimming pools, entertainment parks, theaters, bars, auditoriums, assembly places and any large congregation including the religious will continue to remain prohibited nationwide. However, the state government can impose larger restrictions than those proposed by the centre as per their assessment. Anand Chaturvedi, AIR News, Delhi.
The Directorate General of Civil Aviation DGCA has said the suspension of scheduled international commercial passenger flights will continue till midnight of 30th June this year. It came following the Home Ministry's announcement of fresh guidelines pertaining to the countrywide lockdown to contain the coronavirus pandemic. The DGCA reiterated that foreign airlines will be suitably informed about the opening of their operations to or from India in due course. Earlier on Monday, the domestic passenger flight services resumed in the country after a hiatus of 2 months since the lockdown was announced on 25th March this year. In light of the guidelines issued by the government, Delhi metro services will remain closed for commuters until further notice.
Union Home Ministry has issued national directives for COVID-19 management which will apply to public places and workplaces. Under these directives, wearing of face covers is compulsory, spitting will be punishable with fine and social distancing is to be followed by all persons in public places and in public transport. We have a report.
Marriage-related gatherings will not have more than 50 guests. For funerals and last rites, The maximum number of persons allowed has been kept at 20. Consumption of liquor, pan, gutka and tobacco is not allowed at public places. The directives say that the practice of work from home should be followed to the extent possible and a staggering of work hours should be adopted. There should be provision for thermal scanning, hand wash and sanitizers at all entry and exit points and common areas. In workplaces, social distancing should be ensured through measures like adequate distance between workers and adequate gaps between shifts. Divakar, AR News, Delhi.
Punjab Chief Minister Captain Amarinder Singh has extended the lockdown in the state till 30th of next month with more relaxations. About opening of the hospitality industry and malls, the Chief Minister said, though experts have advised against it, the state would take into account the central government's guidelines for the 5th phase of lockdown. He made it clear that the extension of the lockdown would be conditional to strict adherence to COVID safety protocols, including physical distancing and wearing of masks.
In Madhya Pradesh, the number of coronavirus cases has gone up to 7,891 after 246 new cases surfaced. So far, 343 people have died in the state. The virus is now spread to 51 of the state's 52 districts. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has announced that the state will remain locked down till 15th of June. He also announced that schools will be closed till 13th of June. Our correspondent has filed this report.
So far, 4,444 people have been cured of corona infection in Madhya Pradesh, which is equal to half of the total number of infected people. The number of infected cases in Indore, the most affected district in the state, has reached 3,431. Bhopal now has 1,422 COVID-19 patients, while Ujjain has 660 patients, Burhanpur 297, Khandwa 240 and Jabalpur has 233 patients. Meanwhile, the Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan deposited around 146 crore rupees toward the amount of 37 days of midday meal scheme for the month of May and June in the bank accounts of more than 66 lakh students by single click yesterday. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
The West Bengal government has decided to extend the lockdown till 15th of June with further relaxations. These relaxations are being allowed only outside of the containment zones or affected areas. We have a report.
The state government has permitted additional relaxations outside the affected areas from tomorrow. This includes opening of construction activities, tea gardens, jute mills, small and medium enterprises with 100% workforce, intra-state public and private bus services, provided no passengers will be allowed to travel standing. Opening of places of worship where not more than 10 persons at a time will be permitted to enter the premises. Indoor and outdoor activities relating to TV and cinema production, barring reality show with not more than 35 persons per unit at a time. Hotels, restaurants and shopping malls will be reopened from 8th of June. Arijit Chakraborty, AIR News, Kolkata.
In Himachal Pradesh, public transport services will resume from tomorrow. The state carriage buses will be allowed to operate within the boundaries of the state from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. with some restrictions. To maintain social distancing during the journey, the buses are allowed to ply with a maximum of 60% seating capacity. More from our correspondent.
As per the notification, all buses shall operate on their respective routes except AC buses. No bus can carry passengers with more than its 60% sitting capacity. On the other hand, standing passengers shall not be allowed during the journey. Buses are required to be sanitized at least 2 to 3 times a day. In order to avoid infection, all passengers shall have to wear a face mask throughout the journey mandatorily. The government said that police and administration ensure adequate arrangements for crowd management and law and order maintenance at all bus stands. The order stated that no e-pass shall be required for inter and intra-district movement. However, for interstate movement, e-pass would be required by the concerned district magistrate. Sanjeev Sundrial, AIR News, Shimla.
In Uttar Pradesh, the number of corona patients is increasing sharply in spite of all efforts to contain the disease. The government is taking necessary steps and intensely implementing lockdown measures. However, the recovery rate of corona patients in the state is 60%, higher than the national average. More from our correspondent.
With 262 new patients during last 24 hours, the total number of COVID-19 cases has reached 7,701 in the state. The matter of satisfaction is that 4,651 COVID-19 patients have got cured and discharged to their homes. Agra district is one state where the total number of corona cases has reached highest 875. ASHA workers are visiting the houses of migrant workers who have recently returned in the state and are in home quarantine. Meanwhile, the state government has reiterated that no standard person should remain hungry due to lockdown. The government has instructed to send rupees 1,000 in account of all destitute workers even if they do not have ration cards. MS Yadav, AIR News, Lucknow.
In Jharkhand, 72 positive cases were detected in a single day, taking the total count in the state to 594. It had been the highest single-day increase in the number of cases detected in a day so far. At the same time, bringing some respite, around 40 patients were recovered in a day from the viral disease. Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani has announced Unlock 1 guidelines for the state. The new guidelines will come into effect from tomorrow. As per the fresh guidelines, several relaxations have been announced for non-containment zones, but only essential shops and services will be allowed to function in containment zones. Official sources said the State Health Department will finalize and announce a list of containment zones by this evening. A report from our correspondent.
As per the new guidelines, the state transport buses have been allowed to function throughout the state with 60% sitting capacity, while the city bus service can be resumed with 50% capacity. The odd-even method for opening the shops has been cancelled and all the economic activities have been permitted from 8 a.m. in the morning to 7 p.m. in the evening in the non-containment zones. 2 riders are allowed for 2-wheelers, but they should be family members, whereas 3 members, including driver, can travel in big vehicles. Banks have been allowed to function in both non-containment and containment zones. All the government offices will be resumed from tomorrow. Aparna Khun, AR News, Ahmedabad.
Under the Vande Bharat mission, over 3,400 people have arrived from various parts of the world at Mumbai in Maharashtra. 6 more flights are expected to land in the city till 7th of June. So far, the expatriates have arrived in the city from Britain, Singapore, Philippines, USA, Bangladesh, Malaysia, Kuwait, Sri Lanka, Japan and various other countries. Meanwhile, in a positive development, the doubling rate in Mumbai has slowed down to 16 days from 13. More from our correspondent.
Amid the spurt in COVID-19 cases in Mumbai, silver linings too are witnessed due to the concerted efforts of the government, civic body officials, frontline workers and people as a whole who are fighting the battle against novel coronavirus. As a result of this, the doubling rate in the financial capital has slowed down to 16 days from the present 13 days. Similarly, out of the 24 wards, the doubling rate in 6 wards has gone up to 20 days. Also, 43% patients in Mumbai have recovered and discharged from the hospital. Meanwhile, adding to all this, a 90-year-old woman from Dharavi who was infected due to the virus and had a comorbid condition has recovered from the disease in a week's time after undergoing treatment at a city hospital. With Kunal Shinde, Madhuri Pange, AIR News, Mumbai.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Edappadi Palanisamy has consulted medical experts to decide on the nature of the next phase of lockdown. As the centre has also issued detailed guidelines on the subject, the state government is set to come out with an announcement on it very soon. Meanwhile, the COVID-19 caseload has climbed to 21,184 with a record 938 new cases testing positive yesterday. This is the highest single-day spike in the state so far. However, 687 people returned home from hospitals after cure, leaving the active caseload at 9,021. Our correspondent reports that 6 patients lost the battle against the disease in the last 24 hours across the state, taking the tally to 160.
The medical experts team has suggested continuing the current level of restrictions in Chennai and its 3 adjoining districts like Chengalpet, Kanchipuram and Tiruvallur. The reason is that nearly 70% of the state's total caseload is concentrated only in the region. They have conveyed to the state government in unison to maintain the pace of testing at the same level, saying only then the real status of infection could be understood and the hidden infected cases be found out for isolation and medical treatment to prevent further further spread. The team has expressed satisfaction over the low mortality rate well below 0.7%. The Chief Minister has already interacted with all the district collectors on lockdown. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
Under the Vande Bharat mission, 14 special flights will bring home more than 2,200 Indian nationals stranded from Gulf countries. 8 flights are scheduled from the United Arab Emirates. 6 flights will take off from Dubai to Kochi, Kannur, Kozhikode, Thiruvananthapuram, Hyderabad and Ahmedabad. Yesterday, more than 3,000 stranded Indians were brought home from the Gulf countries.
The next phase of Operation Samudra Setu to repatriate Indian citizens from overseas will commence tomorrow. In this phase, INS Jalashva will repatriate 700 personnel from Colombo in Sri Lanka to Thoothukudi in Tamil Nadu and subsequently repatriate another 700 personnel from Malé in Maldives to Thoothukudi. Indian Navy has already repatriated 1,488 Indian nationals from Malé to Kochi during the previous phase of operations. Indian missions in Sri Lanka and Maldives are preparing a list of Indian nationals to be evacuated and will facilitate their embarkation after requisite medical screening.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio at 11 this morning. Government announces phased withdrawal of lockdown. Containment zones to remain under complete lockdown till 30th June. International air travel, metro rail services, cinema halls and gymnasiums to remain prohibited across the country. Home Ministry issues directives for COVID-19 management at public and workplaces. And US President Donald Trump calls for expansion of G7, seeks inclusion of India, Russia, Australia and South Korea. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at ARR News Alerts.
COVID-19 cases has reached 1,73,763 in India. But there is a silver lining. The overall recovery rate has reached 47.40 in the country and a total of 82,370 patients have been cured so far. Our correspondent has the details.
Health and Family Welfare Ministry data reveals that in different phases of lockdown, recovery rate has improved continuously. In the first phase of lockdown, the recovery rate reached to 11.42% and in the second phase, it crossed the 27% mark. During the third phase of lockdown, which ended on 18th May, the figure of recovery rate reached to 38.29%. At present, the highest recovery rate of 100% has been recorded in Andaman and Nicobar Island and in Mizoram. There are 17 states and union territories including Punjab, Chandigarh, Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, Goa, Uttar Pradesh, Ladakh, Tamil Nadu and Gujarat which are above the national recovery rate of 47.40%. Bhupendra Singh, AR News, Delhi.
The government said the doubling time in the past 14 days was 13.3 and it has improved to 15.4 in the last 3 days. Noted actor Amitabh Bachchan appealed to the people to unite in the fight against COVID-19. He said that everyone should take all precautions and follow government guidelines to stop the spread of the infection.
चलिए फिर से बच्चे बन जाते हैं. बच्चों और बचपन से हमें बहुत कुछ सीखना है. याद है जब बचपन में हमें खांसी बुखार हो जाता था, बदन दुखता था तो हम रोते हुए माँ के पास जाते थे और उन्हें अपनी तकलीफ बताते थे. माँ कुछ घर की दवाई जैसे काढ़ा हो, हल्दी हो, उससे आराम देती थी. हम जरूरत पड़ने पर डॉक्टर के पास ले जाती थी. अब कुछ दिनों बाद हम खेलने कूदने लग जाते थे. आज कोरोना की इस लड़ाई में हमें फिर से यही करना है. अपनी तकलीफ को अपनों को बताना है, राहत पाना है, इलाज कराना है, खेलना कूदना है, जीतना है. इसी में सबकी भलाई है. देखिए, बीमारी कोई कलंक नहीं होता है. परिवार तो आपका भला ही चाहता है ना. तो चलिए फिर से बच्चे बन जाते हैं. अपनी तकलीफ अपनों को बताते हैं. कोरोना से हमें लड़ना है, डरना नहीं है.
In our series, Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of the leading medical experts on COVID-19. Talking to AIR News, President of Indian Medical Association, Dr. Rajan Sharma said that citizens need to follow basic hygiene and social distancing norms.
Post-lockdown, when we are seeing these things opening up, please learn to respect these things. Follow rules. Be honest, law-abiding citizens. For a population of 130 crores, you cannot have so many policemen and so many doctors and nurses and healthcare professionals to treat you. Please observe isolation in case of any problem. Consult your doctor and be truthful to your doctor.
Participating in AIR live phone-in program on COVID-19, Dr. Sanjay Pandey, senior physician at GB Pant Hospital in New Delhi, said improving recovery rates will instill confidence among people to fight this deadly virus.
इन्फेक्शन रेट है वो तो ज्यादा है बट उसकी सीवियरिटी कम है और उसी की वजह से आप देख रहे हैं कि जो रिकवरी रेट है वो धीरे धीरे बढ़ते बढ़ते 40-45 के आसपास आ चुकी है। तो यह एक इनकरेजिंग साइन है और उम्मीद करते हैं कि धीरे धीरे रिकवरी रेट में और इम्प्रूवमेंट होगा और इससे हमें अपने जीवन को नॉर्मलाइज करने में और सहूलियत होगी।
Dr. Pandey also talked about the psychological impact of COVID-19.
डिप्रेशन, एंजाइटी, अगर आप पूरे दिन घर के अंदर हैं और जिसकी वजह से आपस में एक कन्फ्लिक्ट होने की ज्यादा संभावना होती है, इसकी वजह से डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस के काफी रिपोर्ट आए हैं। इस रीजन एक ये भी हो सकता है कि हमारे यहाँ ज्वाइंट फैमिलीज की जो परंपरा है वो काफी पुरानी है। एक लॉकडाउन में इस तरह का माहौल सा बन गया था जैसे एक ज्वाइंट फैमिली रहती है रादर देन न्यूक्लियर फैमिली की।
The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program tonight will bring you a special discussion program on COVID-19. Dr. Raman R. Gangakhedkar, Head Scientist in the Epidemiology and Communicable Diseases Division of ICMR, will participate in the discussion. This can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free telephone number 1800-115-767. You can also ask questions on the telephone number 011-2331-4444. You can also post queries on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts by using the hashtag AskAIR. The Narendra Modi government has completed the first year of its second term in office. During this period, the Narendra Modi government took a number of key decisions, from the abrogation of Article 370 to passing the Citizenship Amendment Act. Home Ministry has also been taking very proactive measures in dealing with the COVID pandemic. The government took the historic step to remove Article 370 and 35A of the Constitution and brought Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh at par with other states and union territories. The Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act was also passed last year, which reorganized the state into the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir with legislature and Union Territory of Ladakh without legislature. A report.
Centre approved inclusion of 5,300 displaced persons' families of Jammu and Kashmir in the rehabilitation package for displaced families of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir and Cham. It also approved 7 Central Pay Commission allowances worth around 4,800 crore rupees for government employees of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Citizenship Amendment Act was passed to grant citizenship to persons belonging to religious minorities who migrated to India after facing persecution on grounds of religion in Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh. The Kartarpur Sahib Corridor Agreement was signed with Pakistan in October last year, following which pilgrims of all faiths can undertake year-round visa-free travel to Gurudwara Kartarpur Sahib through Kartarpur Sahib Corridor. The Unlawful Activities Prevention Amendment Act was passed by Parliament, which empowers central government to designate an individual as terrorist. The National Register of Citizens of Assam was published in August last year. Another historic step was the Bodo Agreement to end the over 50-year-old crisis. With Bhupendra Singh, Suparna Sekya, AIR News, Delhi.
Communications, Electronics and IT Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad has launched India's National Artificial Intelligence Portal called www.ai.gov.in. This portal has been jointly developed by the ministry and industry bodies. The portal will work as a one-stop digital platform for AI-related developments in India, sharing of resources, investment funds in AI, companies and educational institutions related to AI in India. Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad said, India must be a leading country in the development of artificial intelligence in the world.
We must have the benefit of AI. And in that light, I'll be very happy if newer challenges, newer opportunities would be explored. AI can never have the conscience. और मेरा ऐसा मानना है कि इंसान तभी तक इंसान रहता है जब तक उसके अंदर कॉन्शियस रहता है. तो वो इंसान की इंसानियत हम रहने दें.
The minister also launched a national program for the youth called Responsible AI for Youth. It is aimed at giving the young students of our country a platform and empowering them with appropriate new age tech mindset, relevant AI skill sets and access to required AI tool sets to make them digitally ready for the future. In Jammu and Kashmir, security forces apprehended 3 terrorist associates of Lashkar-e-Taiba from Baramulla district yesterday. A huge cache of arms and ammunition was also recovered from them. The trio were arrested at Shankargund on Sopore-Kupwara Road in Sopore area of the district. They were identified as Mushtaq Ahmed Mir alias Lashkari, Mudassir Ahmed Mir and Athar Shamas, all residents of Braskhalan area of Sopore. A case was registered under relevant provisions of the law and investigation initiated in the matter.
US President Donald Trump has said that he will postpone a meeting of Group of 7 nations until fall and called for an expansion of the group's membership. Mr. Trump told reporters that he has not yet set a new date, but it can take place in September around the time of the annual meeting of the United Nations. The leaders of the world's major economies were slated to meet in June in the US. Mr. Trump said he considers the G7 an outdated group that doesn't properly represent what's taking place in the world. The US President singled out India, Russia, Australia and South Korea as possible additions. The G7 members are US, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan and United Kingdom. SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft successfully took off last night from Kennedy Space Center for the International Space Station ISS with 2 NASA astronauts Robert Behnken and Douglas Hurley. The spacecraft is the first to take the American astronauts to orbit from American soil in nearly a decade. The mission marks the first launch of a rocket owned by SpaceX, the commercial space company founded by Elon Musk. US President Donald Trump was present at the Kennedy Space Center to view the rocket launch. On Wednesday, the planned launch was called off due to bad weather. NASA has assigned Hurley and Behnken 2 of its most experienced astronauts. Behnken is the Joint Operations Commander for the Demo 2 mission, responsible for activities such as rendezvous, docking and undocking, as well as activities while the spacecraft is docked to the space station. He was selected as a NASA astronaut in 2000 and has completed 2 space shuttle flights. Hurley is the spacecraft commander for the mission responsible for activities such as launch, landing and recovery. He was selected as an astronaut in 2000 and has completed 2 space flights.
And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi will witness a minimum temperature of 22 degrees Celsius, maximum 35 degrees Celsius with the possibility of thunderstorm and rain. Mumbai will witness generally cloudy sky with light rain. The minimum temperature in the city will be 27 degrees Celsius, while maximum temperature will be around 33 degrees Celsius. In the south, Chennai will see a partly cloudy sky. The temperature will hover between 29 and 39 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will also witness generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The minimum temperature in the metropolis will witness 24 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 33 degrees Celsius. On to north in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature will be 25 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 37 degrees Celsius. The city will observe thunderstorm with rain. In Srinagar, the minimum temperature will be 11 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be around 24 degrees Celsius. The city will observe thunderstorm with rain. In Gilgit, the temperature will hover between 14 and 32 degrees Celsius. It will face partly cloudy sky, becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or night. In Muzaffarabad, there will be partly cloudy sky with the possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. It will witness minimum temperatures of 18 degrees Celsius, while maximum temperature will be around 30 degrees Celsius. And now an overview of today's newspapers. Hindustan Times writes, after lockdown, plan to unlock India in phases. The paper adds that all activities prohibited earlier will be opened in areas outside containment zones in a phased manner. Article 370, Ram Mandir among Modi 2.0 feats, headlines a pioneer. The paper adds that as NDA 2 marks 1 year in office, PM pitches for a self-reliant India. The Tribune reports that for the first time since the COVID-19 outbreak in India, the number of persons discharged outstripped the number of newly infected in the past 24 hours. Financial Express reports that the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Labour is set to pitch for a credible social security cover for migrants as statutory backing. Finally, TikTok traps Assam's jewel thieves, says The Hindu. The urge to show off the stolen jewelry and designer clothes led to her arrest, the paper adds.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio at 11 this morning. Government announces phased withdrawal of lockdown. Containment zones to remain under complete lockdown till 30th June. International air travel, metro rail services, cinema halls and gymnasiums to remain prohibited across the country. Home Ministry issues directives for COVID-19 management at public and workplaces. And US President Donald Trump calls for expansion of G7, seeks inclusion of India, Russia, Australia and South Korea. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.